What's going on, guys? You're listening to The Engine on YouTube. We've got a very special episode for you today. I mean, they're all special, but this one's really special. We got our mock draft 2.0 by Nick Freeman and Nick Falk. They've been working hard this morning and nights and months to bring this draft to you guys.
Sure.
And even though we're on Skype, we're still going to bring it to you guys. We're bringing it to you with some thunder. I'm the commissioner of this draft. We've got two GMs who are ready to make their picks. And with that said, let's get into the picks. Nick Freeman, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, real quick, the way we split it up, I'm Nick Freeman and taking all the teams in the NFC. Nick Falk is taking all the teams in the AFC. So that way we can do trades. Last time we had no trades, but for this mock draft, there are a lot of trades throughout the first round. We're keeping it at one round to keep it short, but also going to give you the best analysis. Once again, we hope everyone is doing well in the quarantine. Let's get it off with the first pick in the draft.
Yep. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe this with everybody. That would really help us out. But with that all said, let's get it over with. The first pick in the Engines mock draft 2.0 for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Quarterback stage.
Joe Burrow from LSU. I mean, is there really? Yep. Thank you. Is there anything we really need to say about this?
So we discussed.
This is GM Nick Falk, by the way.
This is GM Nick Falk. So I'm the GM of the Bengals and the Dolphins here. And there's been some rumors that the Dolphins would trade all three of their first-round picks, being 5, 18, and 23, for the first pick to take Joe Burrow.
26.
Yeah, 26. So I was, I don't know. I considered it for a second, but I don't think it would be the right move for the Bengals GM. If I was the Dolphins, I would actually do it. But for the Bengals, I'm just going to stick with Joe Burrow and take him. And I actually don't think they have a bad situation around him.
Yeah, and you know what you're getting with Joe Burrow. He had 60 touchdowns last year, probably maybe the best single season college football season ever. That's how crazy it was. He's got all the intangibles. There could be a little bit of a developmental concern because it took him 4 years to be a stud. But he was such another level of a stud. Passing up on him with the first pick just makes no sense. You got to go for your guy.
Moving on to the second pick in the NFL draft, in the mock draft for the Engine, we've got Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State, for the Washington football team. Nick Freeman, take it away.
Yeah, so if I'm the Redskins, I'm looking at all these routes. I might be trading back, but what you got with Chase Young, you have a pretty good front seven, actually. They've invested a lot in it recently. But Chase Young's such a dynamic edge rusher. He's a better prospect than the Bosa's, maybe even a better prospect than Clowney and Garrett. He gets to the quarterback. He's an insane athlete. He has some of the best bend out of any football player. I think he can just step in there and be one of the best edge rushers in the league right away. When you think about, you can look at Tua Tagovailoa, just if you're not huge on Dwayne Haskins. I know he's a new guy. I considered that for a while. But I think Haskins did put it together in the second half of the season, and you might as well get an elite defender with that second pick. And I think he will be elite.
I understand the quarterback argument and the quarterback revolution, like what the Cardinals did, just clearly ignoring their first-round pick 2 years ago in Josh Rosen and opting for a new route. I mean, when you ask the question, who's going to have a better career, Tua or Dwayne Haskins, you're probably going to say Tua. So that comes into play, but Chase Young's just too good to pass up, and he's going to be good.
And there's always that injury scare with Tua. With Chase Young, he hasn't had that. And just watching him last year, it took 3 guys to stop him. 3 offensive linemen. That's ridiculous. And he still had 15 sacks.
Yeah.
Is Chase Young the best player in this draft? Or the most NFL ready?
So that's a hard – because quarterbacks are more valuable. But
he'll probably have the best rookie year.
I mean, it depends. But maybe stats-wise.
Burrow's my number one prospect. I think positional value needs to go into account there, and he just dominated the quarterback position.
Everyone's talking about how great of a prospect Chase Young is in terms of his position. No one talks about how great of prospect Joe Burrow is. He's one of the best quarterback prospects that's come on in the last decade.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And with the third pick, we have a trade to announce. The Los Angeles Chargers are going to pick up the third pick from the Detroit Lions. The Los Angeles Chargers get the third pick. In exchange, the Detroit Lions get the 6th pick, the 37th pick, and a 2021 first-round pick. And with the third pick in the NFL or in the mock draft for the Engine, the Los Angeles Chargers select quarterback from Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa.
Yep.
And, Nick Falk, take it away.
So, it was between the Dolphins and Nick, of course, was the GM of the Lions, and I was asking some of these questions. And as the Chargers, I gave up more because personally, I think they have more of a need to win now. They need more of a Tua guy in there right now to sell more tickets, to get some fans in there, and to win in the coming years. So I think it was a no-brainer. I don't exactly know how it works out for their success, but Tua's great. I'm a little scared about the injury. Of course, a 10-second video of him moving around came out today, which was pretty convincing. So, I mean, you can't go wrong.
You can't base it too much on that. There's got to be. So, sitting here at number 3, the Detroit Lions, they're actually, I think, in a pretty win-now mode. So, I'm not trading back unless I get an absolute haul. And I feel like with pick 6, I'll still be able to get my guy. You'll see later. And also, I get an early second rounder, which can bring a lot of value. And if the Chargers are bad next year, I get an absolute steal of a trade by getting their first rounder next year. But I do understand the Chargers do need to go all out.
Yeah, and I could see in real life the Dolphins trading out for this pick because, as you said, the whole Lions coaching staff and general manager and everything like that, they're on the hot seat. So they need to win now, and I could definitely see them taking a trade from the Dolphins because they have more assets in this draft.
Nick Freeman, could you foresee a possibility as a GM of the Lions that this has to be win now, or this is Matt Patricia's last year? I mean, Darius Slay left the door, and he said that Matt Patricia's one of the worst people he's ever been in contact with in his football career.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Patricia should be on the hot seat. He has like six or 7 wins in 2 years there. His name at this point is pretty much just off of Bill Belichick. He really hasn't accomplished anything on his own. And I mean, with the Lions, if they're not able to get wins with this roster, you got to move on. Patricia, the lack of respect Darius Slay showed to him, it seems deserved. He has not earned it at all.
Yeah, it's definitely go time for the Lions, or they're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. With the 4th pick in the Engine's mock draft, the New York Giants select Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver out of Alabama. Nick Freeman.
This is a pretty actually unpopular pick. I think with the Giants, they will probably end up going offensive tackle at this 4th pick. I actually think maybe they should trade back, but with Tua already taken, there's no obvious team here. So I'm going Jerry Jeudy. I think what you get out of him is a number 1 receiver from the start, pretty much. He's the most polished route runner since Amari Cooper coming out, and he has speed. He has after the catch ability. He's just such a complete wide receiver, and I think giving Daniel Jones that will benefit him a lot more than an offensive tackle who might be a project. So yeah. I think their offensive tackle situation, they just brought in Fleming from the Cowboys. I think give him a number 1 receiver, and it will do a huge job.
Yeah, Judy's great. He has quickness that really hasn't been seen in a while from a wide receiver prospect, which is X factor. I mean, he could be a really, really good receiver. He's a little undersized, so he's not going to be that Julio Jones type, but he's really good, really polished route runner, like all of the Alabama receivers. But when you talk about offensive linemen and tackles, I think lots of people are having Becton go there, which I don't like at all. I think you go with one of the more polished ones.
Yeah, the only reason the Mekhi Becton pick is so mocked is because Dave Gettleman loves those huge guys. But if this is my opinion, I'm going Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, and what you said about going with like an unpolished offensive tackle, I think Andrew Thomas, Jedrick Wills, and Tristan Wirfs are all going to be immediate studs. So that's why I would probably go offensive lineman there and tackle specifically.
With the 5th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle, University of Alabama.
Yeah, so I went with him because, first of all, I just have to mention that the reason we didn't trade up with the Lions to get at 3s, we felt like we couldn't put Tua behind that horrendous offensive line, and I don't think that would end up working out for us. So we could also rely on taking a quarterback next year, and maybe taking one at some point in this draft. So we're going to go with Jedrick Wills out of Alabama. And, I think I consider Andrew Thomas, but I prefer Wills for the Dolphins because he has a little bit more upside and he could kind of do it all. And go ahead.
At the very least, Wills will be a stud run blocker, and he has the potential. He has the nasty to become a great pass blocker. So I think he's going to be a really, really good pick there.
Yeah.
He has the nasty. All right, moving on to pick 6. From the Chargers, here come the Detroit Lions. The 6th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Detroit Lions select Jeffrey Okudah, cornerback, Ohio State.
If I'm the Lions, I am ecstatic right here. They could have gotten that third, or they could have taken him at the 3rd pick in the draft. That's what a lot of mocks have him going. You're able to move back, secure an early 2nd, and a 1st next year. This is an amazing haul right there. And you get a number 1 corner in the league. He can play man-to-man, which the Lions love. They lost Darius Slay, so obviously they have a big hole there. I don't think Desmond Trufant's their guy. I don't think these other lesser cornerbacks are their guys, like John Harmon. I think you get Okudah there, and he can be a great corner. He's one of the best cornerback prospects in recent memory, since probably like Jalen Ramsey. He's a man-to-man stud. He has really great ball skills. If I'm the Lions, I think they put themselves in an amazing situation to be able to get their guy while getting even more of it.
Yeah, trading away Darius Slay is just a great sign to them taking Okudah, and they got tons of value by taking the player they probably would have ended up taking at 3. So I love the pick, but also I would have considered Simmons just because they need to win now so badly. So bringing in some sort of X factor, maybe just totally change their defense would be something I'd consider as Lions GM.
I think either way is a huge need, but their direct replacement to Darius Slay makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
We have a trade to announce at pick 7. The Carolina Panthers are going to trade away the 7th pick in the draft, and they're going to get the 10th pick and the 41st pick in the NFL draft, and the Cleveland Browns are going to select at 7. So, with that said, at the 7th pick in the mock draft for the Engine, the Cleveland Browns select Isaiah Simmons, inside linebacker, Clemson.
Yeah, so
pretty much every position.
Yeah.
So when I made this trade, Nick was asking to trade back, and this is a lot of value to move up 3 spots. But I think the Browns really need to make a splash in this draft. And of course, that there's a gaping hole on the other side of their O-line at tackle. And I'm maybe thinking trade for Trent Williams later, but I actually think taking Isaiah Simmons here, getting that X factor, and I don't know how much better he makes the Browns, but I know he's going to be insane. So that's why I'm taking Isaiah Simmons here.
They definitely have a hole at safety and linebacker after using Joe Schobert. If I'm the Browns, though, I think I would still go for that left tackle and solidify that offense. So I think once you have a left tackle opposite Jack Conklin, this Browns offense is ready. I think Simmons brings a ton of defensive playmaking, but I really do think that left tackle is going to be an issue throughout the season.
Yeah, I agree with you. The offensive line play really destroyed Baker Mayfield last year. So, of course, they got Jack Conklin on the other side of their O-line, but they need another tackle. So, as I mentioned before, we might try to go out and get Trent Williams, which would be a scary Browns team.
I don't think you can afford him, though.
If hopefully that'll happen, but this is kind of a bold pick to try to get an X factor and kind of get a winning player to hopefully rejuvenate a locker room and a struggling defense.
Moving on, with the 8th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Arizona Cardinals are going to select Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle out of Iowa. Nick Freeman, take it away.
So the Cardinals, they just got DeAndre Hopkins, so wide receiver doesn't seem like a very big need at this point. I think you go, they have DJ Humphries on the left. I think you go Tristan Wirfs. He can fit right in on that right side. He's an outstanding athlete. He ran a historical 40-yard dash. I think it was in the 4.8s, and he's 300 pounds. Amazing athlete, also played guard. So I think year one I wouldn't, but I think you got your right tackle of the future, a really good duo to solidify this offensive line in front of Kyler Murray, which is I think what you got to do right here.
Yeah, he's versatile. You can move him across the whole line, and the Cardinals' line was absolutely horrendous last year. So this will help a ton. Maybe as a bold pick, you could have taken CeeDee Lamb to pair him back with Kyler Murray, his teammate at Oklahoma. but I definitely think this is a need you just can't pass up. So
I think
like the pick.
with DeAndre Hopkins there's no need to get another receiver when you still have that whole offensive line.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
All right, moving on. We have another trade to announce at 9. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to trade the 9th pick to the San Francisco 49ers. The Jaguars are going to get the 13th pick and the 49ers 2021 first-round pick. San Francisco is going to get the 9th pick and the 3rd-round pick. So at 9, the San Francisco 49ers select CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver, Oklahoma. 49ers making a big splash, Nick Freeman.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm sitting there at 13, I think they traded up to go receiver. There's a clear top 3 with CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, and Henry Ruggs. I'll one up that. I think there's a clear top 2 with Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb. And I think if you're going to make it to that 13th pick, you got to get your guy. And I feel like there's a situation at pick 9 where I think if you don't take CeeDee Lamb, he'll be off the board. The Jets would take him at 11. The Panthers might take him at 10. Or the Oakland could take him at 12. So I think you go up, you get your guy, pair him with Garoppolo, and you have a scary number 1 receiver. They lost Emmanuel Sanders, and I don't think Deebo Samuel is a true number 1 receiver on any team. But I think CeeDee Lamb really has that potential.
Yeah. If this were to happen, the 49ers would be very scary next year. So
100%.
It's a great move for the 49ers. And for me as the Jaguars GM, I'm thinking of a very long-term rebuild. So I don't really see anyone I like at the number 9 pick, so I'm going to move back 4 spots and get a lot of value out of that.
Moving on, here comes the Carolina Panthers from the Cleveland pick with the 10th pick in the Engine mock draft. The Carolina Panthers select Derek Brown, defensive tackle out of Auburn.
Yeah, so like the Jaguars, I think the Panthers are in a full-scale rebuild. So they traded back, got some value, the 41st pick and the 10th pick. Here at 10, I think they're filling an extreme need with Derek Brown, just an absolute stud run stuffer. I don't know where his pass rushing potential is. That's why I'm not so huge on him. But I think the way the board aligns, they just kind of solve tackle with Russell Okung and Taylor Moden. So I think you get the best defensive prospect available, which is probably Derek Brown. He's going to be in there day 1 stuffing runs, and hopefully his pass rushing will develop into being an elite defensive tackle.
Yeah, this would be an amazing situation for the Panthers because they get value and they get an amazing player, and they were almost dead last in run defense last year. So it was a huge hole. If they could get him in the middle, super athletic. Some people have even considered the Lions taking him at 3. So this would be an absolute steal, and Panthers fans should be really happy if this were to happen.
I considered taking Derek Brown at 7. That's a little too high for me, so that's why I went for the trade down. But I think it's a great situation for Carolina.
Yeah.
Moving on, with the 11th pick in the Engine mock draft, the New York Jets select Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle, Georgia. Nick Falk, take it away.
This is the dream scenario. We've talked about some of these teams, but liking both ends of their draft picks and trades in the past few picks. But for the Jets, this would be the best by far. Andrew Thomas might be the most polished and best tackle in this class. He might not have the potential of some of the other guys, but he could still be really good. He's probably going to be the Jets' offensive line is absolutely horrendous. They've worked really hard fixing it this year, but they need to give some help to Sam Darnold, and this should probably be the guy to fix it.
Mm-hmm. They invested on a guy like George Fant. I don't think he's the answer, even though they're paying him a lot. Andrew Thomas, a 3-year starter in college. He started each of his 3 years. He got better in each of his 3 years. So I think with that curve, he still has that upside, and you just know you're getting a solid player right there.
Yeah, and with the tackle, I think you want to rely more on. Or the reason I didn't take someone like Becton here was you want to rely on. If you're taking a tackle this early, you want to rely on someone who you know is going to be good day 1 and to help out your young quarterback.
And he has the longevity, which I trust.
Yeah.
All right. At 12, we have another trade to announce, I believe. I think we do. Yeah, we do. Hold on. Where is it? Well, okay, the Eagles are going to trade. I believe, the Eagles are going to get the 12th pick in the draft from the Raiders, but I can't seem to find what it's for.
It's for the 21st pick in the draft, which is the Eagles, a
Yeah.
2021 first, and a fifth.
All right. With that said, the Philadelphia Eagles at 12 select Henry Ruggs, the third wide receiver, Alabama. Nick Freeman.
Yeah, so I made this trade. I think the Eagles are in win now mode. They made a lot of big moves during free agency, going for a Javon Hargraves and a Darius Slay. And last year, their wide receiver play was absolutely atrocious, like absolutely atrocious. They had the least receiver yards out of any team, at least in the NFC. Their best receiver at one point was Greg Ward Jr. What they need is speed, and that is what Henry Ruggs gives. He ran a 4.27 at the combine. He's a really good route runner also. So I think you're just getting a really great fast receiver. Can be a Deshaun Jackson replacement. And I think since you're in such a win now mode, I think you got to trade up there. He's not going to fall to 21. So get your guy. I'd rather them give up a future first round pick to get this guy than wait and get a medium receiver at 21.
Yeah, this will complete an amazing Eagles offseason. So they basically filled every single need with Slay and a defensive tackle, Hargrave, to go on the other side of Fletcher Cox, and then also finished off with this amazing receiver, Henry Ruggs. So Howie Roseman is typically an aggressive GM, and this would be a great move for the Eagles. And for the Raiders, the reason why I traded down is I really didn't see any great value, and I got a future first next year and some other picks. So that's really valuable to me.
Moving on, at 13, the Jaguars via San Francisco 49ers. At 13, the Jaguars select C.J. Henderson, cornerback, Florida.
Yeah, so the Jaguars' defense has completely fallen apart from that 2017 AFC Championship season, and it was built on Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye, and I think C.J. Henderson has the potential to be close to what those two guys were. He's a really good cover corner. Maybe he's not as great of a locker room leader, but I think this is great to start off struggling secondary.
He's got big shoes to fill, obviously. I like Henderson, maybe not as much as other people. He's really fast, but he still did have issues getting burned, which just confuses me a little bit. But I think he'll be a good fit in Jacksonville on this new replenishing defense.
Moving on, at 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle, South Carolina. Kind of rhymed a little bit, but Nick Freeman.
Right now, the Buccaneers are in absolute win now mode. So at first, I was looking to trade down, maybe get some value for this season, or more value for this season. No takers, Nick Folk. But Javon Kinlaw, he's a very raw defensive tackle, yet he's still producing in college. So that just goes to show you wonders. He's a really good pass rusher, pretty good against the run. He doesn't have too many pass rushing moves, so I'm excited to see what he can do when he learns them. But with the Buccaneers, they had a really good run defense. I think they could might as well get another guy. They could use another freak athlete in that top 7. And Javon Kinlaw kind of, if his development goes right, could remind me of a Chris Jones type guy. Just one of those really disruptive pass rushing defensive tackles.
Yeah, that's one of the great pro comparisons. He would go great along Vita Vea, who's purely a run stopper. So they were great against stopping the run this year. But one thing I would factor in is that I think Tom Brady is the GM of this team. So he might try to get someone, a tackle or something, because the Bucs are struggling there. But I think right now the tackles aren't looking too good in terms of Brady, because Becton's more of a project than someone who could start with him still
playing. There were
no
win-now tackles that really spoke to me.
Yeah.
With the 15th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Denver Broncos select Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, LSU, Nick Folk. Explain yourself.
So this is kind of a explain yourself. This is kind of a rough situation for the Broncos. Everyone they kind of needed, every position, every player kind of dried up at this point. I tried to ask Nick for a trade, but unfortunately no takers from the NFC teams. And I don't know. I like him as a player. He's pretty aggressive. He ran a great 40 time, which his stock skyrocketed after that. So I think you could fit well. You get another weapon for Drew Lock. But at this point, it's a little bit of a reach. So I would have preferred to trade down. But I still like the pick as it's a need and he's a solid player.
Yeah, I think you got to go receiver here. Pretty much. Cortland Sutton can't be your only guy, especially with a young quarterback.
I don't love Justin Jefferson necessarily. It seemed like he got a little bit stat padded by Joe Burrow this year, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, in like 2 years, we're going to be able to see about this historical team, whether it was Joe Burrow, who was great, whether it was Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, who are great, or whether it was that offensive line or all of them. So I'm interested for that for sure.
100%. With the 16th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Christian Fulton, cornerback, LSU. Nick Freeman.
I'm still pretty high on Christian Fulton, even though he didn't have the best end of the season. He is a really good man coverage corner, and the Falcons desperately need a cornerback. Trufant was their number one guy who wasn't even good, and he left. And I think it's time to bring in that number one guy. I think Fulton can be that. Last year at LSU, or 2 years ago at LSU, he was an elite cornerback. This year he played second fiddle to Derek Stingley, but he still was really solid, even though he may have been injured. So I think he's my number 2 corner on the board. I like his ball skills. He has underrated speed. So, yeah, he's, I think, a good pick there.
Yeah, his technique is pretty good, too. This is kind of the same thing for the Broncos, I think, at least for me. I think there wasn't a lot of great options for the Falcons at this pick. I don't love Christian Fulton, but I could definitely see him working out for the Falcons, and it's a desperate need.
I did consider the Justin Herbert or Jordan Love, but I think Matt Ryan still has too many years left to do that.
With the 17th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Grant Delpit, safety, 3 LSU picks in a row, Nick Freeman.
Wow, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
Kind of similar to Fulton. Grant Delpit's 2018 tape, he was a top 10 player in college football. This year, he also was on a bad ankle. He was still pretty good. He had tackle concerns. But right now, with Dallas, I think you go secondary. You're really weak at cornerback. You got Clinton Dix at safety, but still could really use another guy. And I think Delpit brings so much coverage upside. You could probably put him at slot corner. You could put him at safety. And he's just a good football player.
Yeah. Secondary is definitely the Cowboys' biggest need. But this season does scare you a bit. The drop-off does scare you a bit. But then again, he did win the Thorpe Award again, which is kind of crazy because everyone thought this was his huge down year. He's very versatile. I like the pick.
With the 18th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select Justin Herbert, quarterback, Oregon. Not big on this pick, Falk, but
okay. I am actually not big on it either. The reason I do not like Justin Herbert as a prospect either, but since they have so much draft capital, they could pull a Dolphins. They'll be like, all right, if this guy doesn't work against our awful offensive line and awful receivers, then we'll just take Trevor Lawrence next year. That's my thinking. I think there's really no risk to this pick. So why not just try out what some teams think is a franchise quarterback? Personally, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, but why not take him? And,
I think you just like the mullet.
I actually don't like Justin Herbert at all. It just seems like why would you let him slip? And this is a great value for the Dolphins because you don't have to get Tua. You help that offensive line, and you get possibly your franchise quarterback.
None of my teams were in a Justin Herbert taking situation, but I still think he can be a franchise quarterback. He will get drafted higher than this come draft day.
Yeah.
I can pretty much guarantee that. He has an amazing arm. Absolutely amazing arm. He threw it like 60 yards on his knees.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a good arm.
It's a good arm.
Okay, he wasn't necessarily a gunslinger in college, but he has the intangibles, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he still was pretty decent in college. Oregon ran a system that just did not benefit him at all. So I think maybe the Dolphins Brian Flores will be a little more lenient, let him throw the ball deeper. And I think Herbert, there's a shot he could be a really good quarterback.
This would be a dream scenario for the Dolphins. It's very unrealistic, but if this were to happen, Dolphins fans should be really happy. The thing that scares me away from Justin Herbert is I see him more of a Jared Goff, Blake Bortles. He doesn't really seem to have that winning factor. he doesn't seem to have that fire.
Jared
Okay.
Goff and Blake Bortles are on the same team, though. So,
True.
you just gotta
And that
consider
team is probably in like the worst situation out of any.
They're
NFL
the most
team.
descending NFL team right now.
But, you know who's an ascending NFL team? Our pick at 19. With the 19th pick in the Engines mock draft, the Oakland Raiders select Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State. Nick Falk.
Yeah.
Not big on Jordan Love?
No. I am big on Jordan Love.
I'm not big on him.
I've mentioned this before many times. Well, okay, let's say this. I'm big on Jordan Love in the right situation, and I think them signing Mariota shows that they don't trust Derek Carr, and I think that John Gruden can develop Jordan Love, who has insane arm talent, insane intangibles, to be a really good quarterback. Maybe not Patrick Mahomes, which is some people are comparing him to, but of course, 2 years before he had a really good year. This year, not as much. And he said he's playing a little hurt. The whole coaching staff got revamped, but he just said he overthinked a few things. I think if you get in the right system, this guy could be an amazing quarterback. So the Raiders are sitting here after trading down from 12, thinking, oh my God, we just got to steal.
Yeah, he's worth the risk, especially after trading back. Sit him for a year for Derek Carr, and maybe you'll see.
I think with Jordan Love, the thing, it's not a risk because John Gruden just really likes quarterbacks. It seems like, I mean, he'll take Marcus Mariota, a former starter, Derek Carr. Derek Carr hasn't been in the playoffs, but he would have been using the MVP. I think this thing with Jordan Love that you got to consider is, I mean, why not at this point? I mean, you're either going to take him or you're going to trade back down because there's really no other person you're going to take at this pick. I mean, maybe Xavier McKinney, but let's get on to the 20th pick. With the 20th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Xavier McKinney, safety, Alabama, Nick Falk.
So they're bolstering their secondary. Xavier McKinney and C.J. Henderson. I think this is the way to go for the Jaguars. They have Josh Allen up front already. If they can build a pretty good young core with McKinney and C.J. Henderson and some draft picks that we got a little earlier by the trade back. So I really like what the Jaguars are doing. They need to start inching towards where they were in 2017 in that amazing defense.
Keyword inching. This should take a while.
Yeah.
I am excited to see McKinney next to Ronnie Harrison, his former Alabama teammate. Another great Alabama secondary duo. So that's pretty interesting storyline.
Not in love with this Jaguars team. Not in love with the Alabama players that are coming out. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be easily the best, though. I'll say that from the get-go. But here we go. With the 21st pick, Tua is very good, and we can discuss this later. But anyways, with the 21st pick in the Engines mock draft, the Oakland Raiders via the Philadelphia Eagles select Denzel Mims, wide receiver, Baylor.
Yeah. So, some people have Denzel Mims going a little bit later in the draft, but I think you can't deny that a really big, fast, tall receiver that can add a weapon really early to this team. So I don't think you can go wrong. This is an obvious need. There's no one really on the board that I liked, so I'm really happy with getting Denzel Mims here.
He's definitely one of the highest risers in this draft. He ran a sub 4.4 combine. He showed a great route tree at his pro day, or at the Senior Bowl. So I really like Mims. I think he's probably the best receiver in this spot.
All right, moving on with the 22nd pick in the Engine mock draft, the Minnesota Vikings select T. Higgins, wide receiver, Clemson.
My GM abilities are back. So I have been thinking a while. I'm taking T. Higgins. I really like T. Higgins this season. He's a big target. He kind of reminds me of AJ Green, maybe light, but he has still actually brings a really target. And now that Stephon Diggs is off, they need that second receiver so badly. Busy Johnson isn't it? Pretty much anything isn't it?
Yeah.
Or pretty much any of their other receivers aren't that. So I think get a big receiver next to Adam Thielen would do them wonders.
Yeah. So I love the pick. I like T. Higgins. The thing that scares me is the Vikings have not been very good at developing wide receiver talent in the past few years when they have gotten some wide receivers like Laquan Treadwell. He did not turn out well at all.
No, he did not.
I think this trade just shows you that the Bills crushed this trade, or at least it shows that every time an NFL team is giving up a player like Stephon Diggs for draft picks, there's really no way the draft pick receiving team could win.
There's no Stephon Diggs at pick 22.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to hustle because we have like 10 seconds before we got to get to the next pick, but I just don't trust the Vikings. And this is coming from a point of non-personal bias from my experiences. I just don't trust the Vikings development
Packers
system.
fan coming from a Packers fan.
They did just lose their offensive coordinator. They did just lose their offensive coordinator as well, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
With the 20 in the mock draft for the engine, the New England Patriots select. Gonna need your help, Nick Freeman.
K'Lavon Chaisson.
Chaisson. Another rhyme, outside linebacker, LSU. Another LSU player.
So he's risen a lot since the national championship game. He is a very good pass rusher. I think he could add to this New England defense. I was looking secondary, but Xavier McKinney got snatched right before that, so I would have liked him. I think Belichick can develop a nice pass rusher. Typically, he takes secondary in this position, and I would have liked to move back, but that just didn't end up working out.
Chaisson had some inconsistency issues in college, but he has the bend you can't deny, and if there's a guy to be able to develop him, it's Bill Belichick.
Nick Fogg, why didn't you trade up to get a quarterback? Is this not the right round for the Patriots to get a quarterback?
I was going to talk about that. I don't think Bill Belichick is quarterback. Even if Jordan Love falls to this point, I think people have been mocking quarterbacks to the Patriots for at least 6 years now. It's insane. And none of the years they've taken a quarterback early, and I don't think this will be the year they take quarterback early. I think Bill Belichick is going to find a way to win, and I'm going to follow him with a blindfold and hope that in the next 3 years, I'm not a Patriots fan, by the way, but hope that in the next 3 years.
I think it's funny that we need to make that clear.
Yeah.
All right, then. Moving on. At 24th pick of the mock draft for the engine, the New Orleans Saints select Trayvon Diggs, cornerback, Alabama. Nick Freeman.
I think the Saints pretty much solved their wide receiver issue with Emmanuel Sanders. He was an amazing signing. So I think they got to go for that secondary. I considered linebacker, but I think Trayvon Diggs is a really good cornerback. He brings a lot of length, and they don't really have anyone opposite Marshawn Lattimore right now. I think that's exactly who Diggs can be, a really solid cornerback too.
Yeah, I like the Trayvon Diggs pick. It's pretty solid. I probably would have gone Kenneth Murray there because I just prefer him, and I think he's a kind of a Demario Davis type that they could throw in there and possibly build off of in the next few years.
Do we trust the Saints going into 2020, Nick Freeman?
And the regular season, we do.
Yeah, we trust the Saints. We trust this. Do we trust them in the playoffs, though? 3 straight years of something happening. Something weird happening.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go against Drew Brees, but he doesn't have the best track record.
It seems like it might not be that hard to go against Drew Brees, considering what's happened 3 out of the last 3 years. But
yeah,
maybe.
Moving on to a team that has contributed to 3 years with the 25th pick in the mock draft for the engine, the Minnesota Vikings select AJ. Help me out, Nick Freeman.
Epenesa.
I might have gotten that right. Defensive end, Iowa. Nick Freeman.
So, Everson Griffin is leaving the Vikings in free agency. They need a defensive end there. Epenesa is a big fall over this whole draft process. So I think the end of the first round will be where he ends up going. He reminds me of a really solid, almost interior edge rusher, if you know what I mean at all. Like a Trey Flowers, Everson Griffin, exactly what they're replacing. Maybe an Eric Armstead. One of those guys who gets it done against the tackle one-on-one, but isn't necessarily the most bendy player. He's really big, but his length is undeniable. He's like 6'8", 6'7", 280. And I think he could be a really solid edge or defensive guy to revamp this Minnesota Vikings front seven.
Yeah, I like the Everson Griffin replacement comparison. The reason he kind of fell so far was he had a rough combine. He didn't seem that athletic, but I could see this working out for the Vikings. So yeah, I like the pick.
I feel like with the Vikings, it just seems like they struggle to win. Like, it doesn't seem like they could potentially win the division next year.
No bias.
No bias. They had a lot of hype going into 2019-2020 season, and it seems like after beating the Saints but getting destroyed by the 49ers, they need to go back to the drawing board, go back to what they know, figure out the things that they do well, which is develop and players, get a good defense going. Yeah, the bicycle, you never forget how to do it. With the 26th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select Mekhi, I can't read, Becton, offensive tackle.
Mekhi Becton.
Oh,
Yeah.
I kind of got it. All right.
Almost, yeah.
By the way, sorry about the technical issues.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's a little laggy.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
It's a little laggy, but take it away.
Okay, so lots of people had him possibly going out 4 to the Giants and a lot earlier than this. So this is an absolute steal for the Dolphins. He could possibly build with Herbert or whoever their quarterback is over the next 10 years because he's a monster. Something that concerns me and possibly the reason that he fell in this draft for both me and Nick is he didn't show any nastiness for his size. He wasn't really powerful. He wasn't pancaking guys like some of the other offensive linemen in this class, and he's much bigger than them. So that's something that scares me. But the size is undeniable, and he could possibly become a franchise cornerstone to build around.
And do you want that huge size? Like, what's the difference between 370 and 320?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really know.
At this position, though, he fell way too far for the Dolphins not to take him, and they have a huge need.
The upside is undeniable.
All right, moving on to the 27th pick in the Engine mock draft. The Seattle Seahawks select Josh Jones, offensive tackle, Houston.
Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry, I was reacting to some breaking news.
Oh, the
We'll talk about
Chargers'
that
new
later.
logos? Was it the Chargers' new
No,
logos?
it was. Should I just say it?
Yeah, why not?
Trevor Lawrence got his GoFundMe shut down by the NCAA because he was making money out of it, and the GoFundMe was to stop the coronavirus. Anyway,
Oh my God.
Perhaps a 5-minute, perhaps a rant will come. A VO after this will come. We'll talk about some NCAA things. But
Yeah.
moving on,
Okay.
we got to focus on the
Sorry,
present.
yeah.
Josh Jones.
Yeah, Seattle took Josh Jones. They need a tackle. They don't really have a right tackle. Dwayne Brown's old, their left tackle. So I think they just got to revamp this offensive line in front of Russell Wilson. 4-year starter in college. So I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty underrated. He shot up the boards in these past few weeks. I really like him. The Seahawks, of course, everyone knows at this point they've had an offensive line need for the past 10 years. And why not get someone who's pretty solid, I think could probably maybe even fit in that guard, but you definitely need tackles too.
Yeah, he's a little project, but not too much.
With the 28th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Kenneth Murray, outside linebacker, Oklahoma.
So they need linebacker, and this is a really dynamic player. If the Ravens got him right here, as a Steelers fan, I'd be pretty mad. I think he could be a really good player and would complete a really, really good Ravens defense right now. And, why not get that fast, good coverage linebacker in the middle? And, I don't really think this is basically a luxury pick, but you're basically filling a need too.
He's very rangy. I just don't know if he's the Ravens type of linebacker.
Yeah, I think they always kind of pick for best player available, and this is one of the situations where it's just a glaring outlier.
Okay.
All right. Moving on with the 29th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Tennessee Titans select Julian Okwara, defensive end, Notre Dame. Okara.
Yeah. Okay. So, I was originally in my. Oh, it's lagging a little bit. Okay. So, I originally had A.J. Epineza in my old mock draft because I had him falling to that point, which I liked. He was kind of similar to Mike Vrabel, but this guy is a really good pass rusher. Their biggest need is pass rusher to go alongside Harold Landry. They also lost Jarrell Casey, who's an inside guy, but he has had some injury problems, but I think he has some of the highest edge rushing potential in this draft. So this would be kind of a steal for me with the Titans. A great fit too.
He gets the quarterback.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, he's better than Chase Young in my opinion.
Yeah. I would agree with that when he's healthy.
With the 30th pick in the Engine mock draft, the Green Bay Packers select Jalen Reagor, wide receiver, TCU, Nick Freeman. Take it away.
Green Bay obviously needs speed outside Devontae Adams. Rager gives that to you. He also had put on some muscle for the combine, so he'll do pretty well against the press. But really, if I'm Green Bay, no matter what, I'm taking wide receiver. Besides Devontae Adams, this receiving core is terrible. They're relying on Valdes-Scantling and Geronimo Allison, who their stats aren't that bad just because they have Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, but just watching them play, they drop so many deep targets and aren't good receivers.
Yeah.
So I think Rager brings that to you.
The thing that scares me about Reagor is he's kind of similar to the wide receivers the Packers have taken the past few years. He's pretty athletic. He has a lot of potential, but he has had a lot of drop problems at TCU. So I would have considered someone like Patrick Queen here, too, out of LSU, because he would replace Blake Martinez, who is lost in free agency.
I think with Aaron Rodgers, the drop problems should go away with his talent. What do you think about that, Johnny, as a Packers fan?
I think Aaron Rodgers usually, even though in his old age, people have been criticizing him, he usually puts the ball on the money. That's his thing. You know, he's one of the best quarterbacks. I think, in my opinion, I think he's the most talented quarterback in the history of the sport. I think eventually that's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Once I think eventually it's going to be Mahomes, but now it's Aaron Rodgers. But you group Aaron Rodgers in with like John Elway, Dan Marino, now I guess Mahomes with like the most talented quarterbacks ever. I think you got to trust Aaron Rodgers right now. I think if you have a receiver come in that's got some problems, Aaron Rodgers can definitely help him out with the veteran experience. Same with Devontae Adams, who I think Devontae Adams is one of the most underrated route runners in the NFL. He's unbelievable.
He might be the best.
The moves that he was putting on in the playoffs, specifically against the Seahawks, it was unbelievable. He was putting on a show, and you just gotta trust him. Moving on to the team that beat the Packers in the playoffs with the 31st pick in the Engine mock draft, the San Francisco 49ers select A.J. Terrell, cornerback, Clemson.
As the 49ers GM, the first thing I'm doing at this pick is seeing if a team is willing to trade back or trade up for this pick. At 31, the 49ers have historically done really well in the second and third round draft picks, and Nick, obviously we couldn't get a deal done. So I'm going A.J. Terrell, really good cornerback. He showed some pretty good speed at the combine. The reason kind of dropped was championship game, but who didn't get burned by Jamar Chase besides Cameron Dantzler? But anyway, A.J. Terrell is a physical corner. Yeah, A.J. Terrell is a physical cornerback, and he tested pretty well. So I like it. There's a need next to Richard Sherman as their number 2 outside guy, and I think Terrell could fit that pretty well.
Yeah, I agree with the pick.
With the 32nd and the final pick of the first round in the Engine mock draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Jeff Gladney, cornerback, TCU.
So I really like Jeff Gladney. I think he has some work to do in terms of potential, in terms of win now mode. But, the Chiefs really need a corner, and he has a lot of speed. He plays really well when pressing, and it's a lot of what the Chiefs are on. So I really like him here. I actually did consider Cameron Dantzler, who Nick just mentioned, but I think that he could fit really well in the Chiefs' defensive system, and the Chiefs really, really need corner, even though I do think he's a bit of a project.
The thing with Gladney, I'm not big on him. I just don't understand how a Big 12 number 2 cornerback, the number 1 cornerback was Trevon Moehrig, who's still in college, could be a first-round pick after giving up like 500 passing yards a game. I don't know if that's true, but just from the Big 12 stereotype, I'm not huge on Gladney. Except I will be nice to you because as long as the Chiefs don't draft a running back at 32, which a lot of mock drafts have.
I originally had that.
It makes no sense. Their offense is already so explosive.
I don't know. I was fine with it.
Let's conclude, though, our mock draft 2.0.
Yeah.
Check in with us for daily videos. More videos definitely coming in soon. As long as we're in this quarantine, we're going to be producing more videos. Thank you so much for
mock draft coming up soon, too.
Yep.
So, another one.
Yeah, we'll keep bringing more of this. Maybe eventually add a second or third round aspect to it. But, yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.